This is the visitor centre where you buy your tickets and that. It's really well organised, lovely cafe and restaurant here, really nice. Okay, so we're down at the Port Arthur site, going to do the tour. So if you come here, there is an introductory tour that starts just outside the office block, and they're every half an hour, so we're going to do that tour at 10 o'clock. There's also a trip on a boat for 20 minutes as well, and I think the entry price for an adult was $46 Australian, so 46 bucks to come in. It's probably going to be worth it, I would think.
Okay, so as I said, I'm going to give you a nice overview of history, and also, as I said, a lot of different types of history and a lot of different layers of history here at Port Arthur. So I would like to start with an acknowledgement to traditional custodians of the land, the Pairarami, and they will remain custodians past, present and well into the future for emerging. We also have our more modern and most recent history, 1996 tragedy that occurred here. 35 men, women and children lost their lives. Now, in the site of where the tragedy occurred is now a very beautiful, secluded memorial garden. Of course, if you wish to take time out of your own day, it's a perfect place for reflection to look back on that. It is down the road on the way to the harbour cruise. When we move around, I'll point it out for you guys so you can find it later on. And I'll also give you a nice landmark to aim for that harbour cruise too, so I know what that's like when you're travelling. You want to see something in the distance as well. Let's get into convict penal settlement. From 1830, this place opened up with about 35 convicts in September of that year, so very close to around this time on this day type of thing. They brought established it for a timber felling camp, really. So all the beautiful eucalyptus blue gums and the stringy bark in the area, they're going to come in, and estimation in the first 5 years they've stripped approximately 900,000 metres of timber from this area. A lot of it was exported, a lot of it just stayed here at the settlement to help build up the buildings here, but then eventually it ended up beneath your feet. So further down along the waterfront, all of the land down there, that became the main gate. That was a beautiful sandy cove. They slowly over time reclaimed that land, got them a bigger waterfront, deeper waterfront. Bigger ships could come a lot closer as well. You can see a great photographic timeline of Port Arthur growing and changing up in the Commandant's House. Definitely make your way up there. The number of populations interest me on how quickly they increased. From 35 convicts to just over 900 convicts in the first 5 years was that increase. That's quite a short timeline with a big population jump. But in that very short timeline, a lot of stuff got going here at Port Arthur. It moved into a secondary punishment station in 1833. The next year, the boys' prison has opened up.
So this place called the Parsonage is reputed to be haunted. So the guide told us. So we're going to go and have a look inside, see what we can see. So we're walking up what they call the government walk to where the leaders of the colony apparently lived, in these nicer houses obviously up here. This is actually the guard tower. So the garrison here used to be up on the hill so they could watch down on the prisoners. Okay, so this is one of the military guard towers. It's a great panoramic view of the whole site. The old police station. So this block here housed a lot of the convicts. It was actually the penitentiary where the cells were, and it's pretty bleak when you look inside some of these cells. It's a beautiful avenue of trees, stretches right down from where we were earlier, where the prison is, all the way up the hill to the church. So I would imagine this is the path that people trod every Sunday when they were walking up to church, either from the free settlement or the prisoners coming up from the prison. This is where people would have walked, I think, up to the church. So beautiful with the trees. So we're just walking up to the church. Now apparently this was a place of worship where everybody had to come on Sundays, including the convicts and the free people, and they were divided so that the free people sat at one end and the convicts sat at the other end, but it was compulsory apparently to come to church here on Sundays. So this is the official front entrance where the free people would enter, and apparently the convicts entered through the side entrance. And you can see up there, I think it says AD 1836. So you can see that the face stones in sandstone are beautifully smooth and cut beautifully, whereas the inside stones, which were probably covered, I think, were all rough and not obviously cut to the same standard that the face stones on the outside were. It's beautiful. This is the settlement at Port Arthur, shot from the waterfront. There's a beautiful natural harbour here. It's really, really pleasant. Okay, so this is the view that you get from the harbour when you arrive at Port Arthur by boat. It's a beautiful site, it's really well preserved and maintained. Certainly worth coming to see.